Hey, hello everybody, I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching American Horror Stories.
Woo!
So yeah, this was episode 3, Drive-In. I'm just gonna go right to you. What did you think overall?
Pretty good. I don't think it was as good as the first one, but I think there was less time, obviously, and like nothing familiar. So it was like being in Murder House, there is a shorthand. Like we already know what's gonna happen. And
there's an element of they're doing the thing.
They're doing the thing again, yeah. That being said, I did mostly like it. I really enjoyed the two main characters, mostly because I know them both from other shows. The girl is her name is Madison Bailey, and she's from Outer Banks. And Chad his name is Renzi Feliz, and he was on Runaways.
He was also on a few episodes of Teen Wolf.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Towards the end, yeah. So I thought they were both pretty appealing. I liked the whole vibe of it. I liked their friends too, and the kind of like jockey skater boy was really into the like non-binary kid. I really liked that. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't grab me quite as much. I also think that a lot of like movie urban legends are kind of stupid. So
I watched this last night and I enjoyed it fine. I watched it again. I was more critical with it watching it again in a way that I don't know if it really deserves critical theory.
Yeah.
But I was going to talk about the stuff. So it was a fine. I feel weird calling this pleasant, but it was the experience of just watching kind of like a trashy urban legend for 40 minutes last night before I went to bed was enjoyable. I think a big thing for me is I think there needs to be a wow factor or an it factor, especially in conjunction with the American Horror Story of it all. And all we really had was we had Naomi Grossman, who is a AHS regular, recurring, and John Carroll Lynch. Better use of John Carroll Lynch, I think, than Naomi Grossman.
Yeah, well, also better use of John Carroll Lynch than American Horror Story has almost ever pulled off.
You've still never seen Freak Show.
That's fair. Okay, fair. I find myself baffled by him taking these American Horror Story roles almost every single time. I mean, aside from what must be just excellent money. But this is also apparently the only time that Naomi Grossman's character has died on screen, which I find weird.
I just she plays very weird characters, and I was excited to see her do something different. And I guess, I mean, I don't know that I would call this different, but she was just rabid Ruth. She was just frenzied the whole time. And also, I mean, just like elephant in the room, if she lived through what she lived through, why would she ever even go back? Why even risk being in there?
Yeah.
And B, the fact that she stayed after dark, like to go creep around, and I understood
she was,
it,
like,
but
trying
it was
to
like
unplug the projector, but
no,
at the
I
same
understood
time,
that.
I'm on your team where I'm like, you already like know what the consequences are going to be. What are you thinking of?
So there were two things that sort of I had two major gripes with the story. The first is the beginning. I understand that it's tropey, but I don't like that we were introduced to this couple with a teenage boy trying to pressure a teenage girl into sex so that he can be cool.
And especially because he heard she already did it with another dude after way less time.
So right off the bat, I'm not invested in other than the actor's innate charm. Yeah. I'm not invested in their love story. We are teased with a more interesting story with Kelly and her non-binary friend D, where D even is like, you're afraid of the dick, like all of this stuff, making me think, oh, so is there another facet of Kelly, another aspect of her? And also, I mean, D was a very bold character to sort of trot out in front of us and not quite do anything with. It was appreciated.
I mean, it's a Ryan Murphy special, though, which is like, this is a canonically queer character. Goodbye. And like, that's it.
And again, I mean, I was more intrigued by that. And frankly, the frank and outright exploration of young sexuality. Yeah. I thought there was something to be said for D being like, I'm not the kind of person that
I don't have to go on a lot of dates. And then it wasn't even kissing D went straight
Right
to
down.
the dick. Straight down.
There was something about it that was sort of refreshing in this way, to just have it be met with the outcome
Yeah.
felt rude.
Also, D gave me a real, I don't know his handle or anything, but a real Ghost Honey vibe. That guy that's on TikTok.
I don't know.
The vampire one, where it's like, oh, my blood is, I just woke up from a nap, so my blood is all like warm and thick.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, I just woke up from a nap, so my blood is like super hot and thick right now.
Very good.
There's just so much of it.
The episode was working at cross purposes there for me. And then the second kind of issue I had with the whole thing is that for me, they're really, I mean, actually they did a decent job of injecting it with tension, but I was going to say at no point was there ever a question as to whether or not this movie was going to be real.
Of course.
And so there
It's
was
an episode of American Horror Story.
There was an element of sort of just waiting for the inevitable with these characters that I'm mildly invested in.
Yeah. And I also don't think that the cute straight boy going for the non-binary person deserved to have his dick bit off.
And the sex positive non-binary person deserved to be, Which, again, I mean, I understand death of the innocent and like all that stuff, but it didn't quite narratively. I don't think American Horror Story Special, I don't think they utilized the 40 minutes they had to their strength.
Yeah.
I will say the episode does take a strange turn at about like the 25-minute mark, where our couple, Kelly and Chad, are locked in the projector booth, and we see sunrise, and then they launch into there's an act 2 that you don't really see. I mean, they establish it with the second screening.
Well, it's like, I almost feel like
we go into a Bonnie and Clyde place.
Yeah, this like act 2 set piece was essentially written so that John Carroll Lynch can have a monologue
to justify his
and I'm
presence.
like, I get that, and again, I appreciate it. I think John Carroll Lynch is one of the more captivating character actors in existence right now. That being said, for what?
Okay, sure, absolutely, that's a valid point. But I found the episode pulling me back in.
Of course, yeah.
With that,
but
in
again,
a way that
under the strength of John Carroll Lynch, almost single-handedly.
Well, Kelly was she got a little fascinating there at the end, where I'm like, I wish that we had gotten a chance to get to know this person that we have such a limited amount of time with.
Well, she has this line too where like Chad wakes up in the morning and she's got the like shotgun, and he like literally asks her, "Can you handle that?" And she goes, "My dad's a Marine." And I was like, all right, man, you got it.
So, I mean, I really wish we didn't spend the first 15, 18 minutes of this movie exclusively worried and focused on Chad's dick.
Sure. And
when you ended up having these really interesting players.
And further to that point, I think it took, you're right, like 15 minutes or so before it turned into like a zombie movie. And then the zombie movie part of it ended, and we did, like you said, the Bonnie and Clyde thing. And then we get to the end, and I guess finally Chad's getting his dick wet, but then Rabbit has then been put on Netflix, which is hilarious. I thought that was also but then credits.
The anthology is what I've been asking for. I realize that. I also
but you're not doing it.
Well, no, I'm also a hypocrite and a fickle mess. So it's like I want it to play in more.
Sure.
Like I kind of wouldn't mind if these overlapped more. If we got, we've been asking for like a Netflix cinematic universe. What if we get like an AHS cinematic universe where
just asking for trouble,
run into Kelly and Chad again in like episode 10 or something. I think that could be a lot of fun. They didn't really explain exactly what it was. John Carroll Lynch, the director, Larry Bitterman, what his goal was, because he was very adamant that he had revolutionized film, which fair.
Sure.
But it was, again, cross purposes, because it's like his goal was to screen a movie that would ultimately cause chaos and annihilation, but then have like accolades rain down upon him for it.
Yeah,
and who's going to be praising you for this once you've killed everybody with this thing?
Sure. It's a very, like, all of the demons on Buffy who are like, I want to end the world. And it's like, you live here. What are you thinking of?
Another thing that glass half full, glass half empty, you can say that it was a waste or an interesting thing I wish they did more with, was the Tipper Gore cameo.
Yeah.
there's a part of me that's like, let's go back to that trial. Like, let's
Yeah.
go back to the first screening or
Sure.
something. So it is an urban legend. It's a thing that like a certain combination of sounds and images can cause people to
Yeah.
go insane. That's kind of fun. Like I said, and frankly, the poster and even just the name Rabbit Rabbit, there's something about it where it's like, well, what does that mean?
Mhm.
Like, I found that part of it very intriguing. It's like when we talk about how if you're going to do a movie about music, the music in your movie needs to be good.
Sure.
It was that kind of thing where the glimpses of the movie we got felt real to me.
Yeah. Where like something that we do love, like Sucker Punch, where it's like her dancing is supposed to be so exquisite, and like rather than make Emily Browning learn a bunch of choreography, we just fade away every time she starts dancing. Like that's fine too.
But yeah, I do hope that Rabbit Rabbit comes back, that we see it in some form.
I mean, I'm sure we
Down the
will.
road.
I mean, Ryan Murphy properties have the same that same kind of quality as like Tarantino things, where
Mhm.
like names of things and like images of things come back. So
Ultimately, fine.
yeah,
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
So we'll
I'm not
see.
mad at it.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I anticipate and frankly desire a little bit of a
Up and down.
up and
For
down
sure.
road. So
That is like, yeah, I agree with you there. I would love for at the end of these 16 episodes for me to be like, these 4 were far and away my favorite. You know,
Mhm.
I want to have favorites.
it's just when you consider what like Black Mirror is able to do
Yeah.
in the same amount of time,
hmm
there's an element of you really gotta the brand has to be worth it.
Yeah,
The
for
brand
sure.
prestige. And so we'll see. We'll let you know. We'll be the
Definitely.
first to tell you.
All right. Cool.